Hello everyone. This is the Good Friday service at St. Anthony's Church in Mendocino, California, which I'm having to do alone today because of the shelter-in-place practices caused by the Wuhan virus. And it would be interesting to have the occasion now to give a little introduction to this, to Good Friday in general, and to this service in particular. It's interesting, why do we say Good Friday? I mean, that almost seems very counterintuitive. We think that it really shouldn't be called Bad Friday. I mean, here Jesus, our friend, is cruelly persecuted and suffers and dies, and also we have to deprive ourselves of things on this day. I mean, we can't eat the things we might like to eat, and we also, it's the end of Lent, and we've given up things, and we're generally just not supposed to be too happy today, are we? I mean, this is isn't it supposed to be Bad Friday rather than Good Friday? And I did a little research in this, and there's different ideas, but they say one of the oldest reasons, and it's attested by the Oxford English Dictionary, which I think is about 12 volumes long, but it says that good originally meant holy in the Old English. That good actually had the sense of holy, and that would correspond to the other European languages. And I know in French it's Vendredi Saint, which means Holy Friday, and so it would have probably been originally Holy Friday in the sense, the English sense of Good Friday. And then perhaps Christians and Catholics have kept that expression because it's in the sense that, yes, it is a good day when we think of, yes, this is the day when Christ wrought our redemption, when his wounds have healed us, and when his death has given us new life. So it does ultimately have a good outcome, even though it's such a sad moment in the life of the church and in the year of the liturgical year. And in that sense as well, it's interesting to think today that it's the one day of the year where Mass is not celebrated. So we have a service here, we have a communion service, and we have readings, and we adore the cross, but we don't actually have the Mass, and it's the one day of the year when that is not done. And maybe that helps us to think as well about this time of the virus, that we're deprived of the sacraments, and it's such an unusual time, and yes, maybe just as it's like an extended Good Friday, really, where it's a spiritual desert, where we're deprived of the sacraments, and deprived of that real presence of Christ in our lives, of receiving him in the Eucharist and receiving his body and blood. And that nourishes us, and nourishes us spiritually and physically, and yet we're deprived of that. So hopefully it creates an ever greater longing for him and a desire for him, and that we hunger and thirst for him. And hopefully when this too will pass, that we'll be able to resume our normal church life, and resume and come back even with ever more joy than ever of being able to receive Christ our Lord.